and we're just gonna take the coffee is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ho ho ho! I'm John Miglosh, and we got a good show today for you. We're gonna start off with the Gym Group, which is a UK phenomenon, and they've got a 50-second commercial, but this one's chopped up into 3 20-second commercials. So let's get over there and play it. Okay. Guy's eating cereal. He can't quite get that to work. The couch seems to be broken. Oh, no, it's his wife. She's doing leg presses on the couch.
There's a Gym Group round the corner with actual leg press machines. Get lots of top quality equipment from just $13.99 a month.
Okay, so that's a really quick, nice commercial. And right to the point and a little bit of humor in it. I like that. So let's hear the backstory. Bonk. And over we go. Let's see if I've got it in here. Silly ways to get fit. The UK fitness brand's January campaign has a 50-second version, but I couldn't find it. Silly ways people attempt to work out from home to save money. And they have people running stairs, and they have people carrying the grocery bags. When I started lifting weights, which I don't anymore, but I should, I actually filled jugs of milk jugs with water and started lifting those. And I remember the first time I tried working out with the water bottles, I could barely lift my hand to brush my teeth the next day or two. So it can work. I'm a big believer in, getting as much exercise as you can, however you can, because I don't like the idea of wasting the trip to the gym and, just go in the basement. I used to have a really nice workout room down in the basement, but when the basement flooded, I had to sell it all off, which I did, and I haven't quite recovered from that. Anyway, so a lot of fun. Everybody, with their New Year's resolutions tries to get back in the gym, and I'm not arguing that it's a good idea. I think it is. Okay, Williams-Sonoma WSM surges 67% in the past year, and they said it's because it's diversified its portfolio and the progress of its business-to-business division and also its e-commerce platform. And they do mention, now here's the graph. Look at that graph. What a great graph. Let's see. Yeah, from here, zoom up there. Really good. And it grew even faster from June, right? June was kind of a down month. If you would have bought it there, it would be up more than that. Well, I guess that is the basis. That's the zero basis. Anyway, they have a couple of catalogs. I was going to bring the Stanley Tucci, but I walked right past it and forgot to stick it in my briefcase. My wife liked that because she's a big fan of Stanley Tucci. They have direct mail catalogs. Unlike a lot of e-commerce companies, they still do direct mail catalogs. They have retail stores. I did want to talk about, they have efficient circulation, catalog circulation, yeah. I did want to talk about business to business for consumers is very interesting. You've probably heard me tell the story about Baseball Express. I called them up and I said, did you ever consider business to business? Baseball Express was a baseball equipment catalog. And they said, no, we're strictly consumer. And I said, oh, okay. I said, who buys these $4,000 pitching machines? And they said, oh, leagues and colleges and even major league teams. I said, did you ever consider those might be business to business customers? They said, no, we're strictly consumer. It was a friend of mine, longtime friend and president of the company. So anyway, I suggested to him that when we analyzed who bought the pitching machines, they were almost always 4-line addresses. 4-line address is a clue that it's a business. John Miglosh at the WDMA.org, 555, Heartland, Wisconsin, whatever, right? So that fourth line, the company name is, or even Suite 10 or something, is usually a sign that it's a business. And so you can actually quite quickly look at a list of addresses and find what might be business to business. We did the same thing with Cabela's. We found that their best customers, the ones that would order, we found 5,000 customers in Cabela's that, yes, David Bear, that actually we got more than 5,000 orders from a 5,000 name segment of their list. Now, that's 5,000 out of 5 million that we mailed that particular day. So it wasn't that big in comparison. But it turned out that they were selling a lot of outfitters and guides and lodges and hotels and resorts in rural areas. And that became a very big piece of their business. Land's End hired me back, David Zentmeyer, just to come over and see their business to business launch and whatever. And I handed him, I think I've got a Land's End catalog here. I think it might even be the business to business. Let's see. Land's End. No, it's just a regular Land's End. But he handed me a business to business catalog. And I wanted to illustrate two principles that were a little different in business to business. And he showed me a spread of a golf shirt. And nice looking golf shirt, and it told about how good quality it was. And I took the catalog and I folded it around like this, and I said, okay, so if I hand you this catalog, let's pretend I'm the president of the company and I get this nifty catalog, and I say, oh, order some of these shirts. I said, and you're the buyer, where are you going to order them? And David said, how about Land's End? I said, right. Where is Land's End? Let's see if it's on here now. I said, where is Land's End on here? And I said, it's in the label on the picture of the shirt. That's the only place. So you're going to order it from your brother-in-law, because everybody has a brother-in-law in imprinted merchandise, right? And I'm the president. I'm not giving you my whole catalog. I'm going to keep it. I'm just giving you a photocopy of that page. It's called the photocopy test. Okay. If you're selling to business, how would someone get in touch with you if all they had was a photocopy of one of the pages of your catalog? And I said, see, there's nothing on here that says Land's End on this whole page. He's ordering it from his brother-in-law. Dave looked at me and said, wow, this is really different. It's not that different, but it is some different. While I was sitting in his office, he got a call from a business who wanted, I don't remember, some big number, like hundreds of something. And he called the main office and said, can we take this order? Can we, there's 100 of them in stock. They said, no, you can't take that order because we'd rather sell it to 100 different consumers than sell it to one business whom, we may not even keep this division going. I said, there's another principle. Get your own inventory, because the inventory in business to business is different. Okay. If you have a large and a small, and those are the last two items in your catalog, and you have those on the shelf, you can sell those items. But if a company wants to do a company picnic, and you have 100 large and 100 small, but you have no mediums, they're not going to buy from you. That inventory is worthless from business to business standpoint. You can liquidate from business to business to consumer at almost no loss, but you can't go the other way around. Okay, it doesn't make any sense. So you always need to have adequate merchandise across SKUs if somebody's going to buy a collection for a company outing or a sales conference or something else. Does that make sense? Okay, so there's some differences, which brings up another point, which is talk to somebody who knows something. Always a good plan. But Williams-Sonoma is now doing business to business, which I did not know, but they probably should have done it long, long ago. And probably, even though with their efficient catalog circulation, most modeling does not do logarithmic customer value. In other words, the top 1% gets a 5, the top 4% get a 5, the next 4% get a 5, the next 15, get a 4, get a 3, and the bulk of the customers that are all pretty much the same get a 1. Most people put equal quintiles. Equal quintiles is a disaster. You might want to read my book about that. That's why most businesses don't realize the value of their top 1%. And I can tell you story after story after story. Okay, so Now, I wanted to talk about this yesterday. Ryan Healy did a post about handwritten letters to past club members. He got this in the mail, an envelope, and from Naked Wines. And I crossed paths with Naked Wines in 2012, I think it was. Yeah, pretty sure. And so I have a couple of them that are connected. And I did subscribe for a while. They started out with a really great offer, like this letter promises: 15 bottles of wine for $89.99. It's like a $300 value or something like that. And that's only $6 a bottle or something. But then after that, we didn't get as good an offer, so I canceled. I really, really wanted to be a fan, but we're not wine connoisseurs. I was before I got married, but then other things took higher priority in our financing. Anyway, and so then Ryan asks, how do you do that? Back down in the comments. And I said, in the USA, you can talk to oldschoolmarketing.com. You can call me about it. I can tell you something. They have about 180, mostly women, I admit. That's what I said. You have 180 rural women in the Ozarks down in Arkansas that are, happy to send out mail. And they said that they could expand to 1 million pieces a month or 2 million pieces a month. I don't know if I can show you this. I'm trying to show it to you, but I can't see whether you can see. Anyway, this was how I got started with Old School. They sent me one, and it was handwritten, clearly handwritten. I'm pretty good at telling the difference. They also sent me some robot versions. They have robots that do an excellent job at not doing the same letter twice. This is a robot one. Nope, this is a handwritten one. I tell more by the line slant than I do by the letters usually. But anyway, I wanted them to let me guess. But anyway, very effective. We're going to be conducting some head-to-head tests between the robot, the regular mail, and the handwritten, and getting some quantification of that, which is the key always to getting more funding for your direct mail, is setting up good tests. Okay, and finally, that brings me to Mike Izzo's article from Gunderson Direct. I'm a fan of Gunderson. I think they do as good a job as anybody in the direct agency space, maybe the best. And Mike just seems like a super great guy, and Jeff Tarrin. And they say, here's 5 reasons why you'd want to use a full service agency. Okay, now, in my experience, full service agencies meant all kinds of mass media, not specifically direct mail. So I would say, why would you want to hire a direct mail agency? That's pretty much more of it. And, a lot of people, a lot of printers make claims that they can do all of it for you and coordinate it all for you. And I work with, man, oh man, it's hard doing live, Keith Lawson down in Arizona, and his company has creatives, but they pull together resources like most ad agencies do. So the first one is expertise in and industry knowledge. Now that, to me, in my experience with direct agencies over the years, has been a little spotty. Oh, right. They don't always understand printing, especially if you're doing something more than just, a number 10 envelope type mailer or a postcard. If you're getting a catalog built, you might want to talk to people who build catalogs. And there's a few of them, right? Right, yeah. So Jay Schmidt would be one that builds a bunch of catalogs. Although I looked at a recent catalog of theirs, and I would have had quite a few suggestions. I personally worked with something like 80 different catalog companies in creative and in customer segmentation and in product selection and a lot of, even inventory issues like with Land's End. So expertise, but, find out, if you have some ideas of what direction you want to go, ask them about that direction, because direct mail is a really curious world where The catalog world is very, very different from, say, the financial world where they mail almost all small solo pieces. It's very, very, very different. And the ability to track the results is very different in the financial world versus the catalog. In the catalog, we can track by credit card. We can track. We know the credit card when we pull our customers. We can get some really good tracking, even if they buy retail, whether they buy in the catalog or they retail or they go on the website. We can track all of that. In the financial world, it's tough. Once they go into the bank, you can do matchbacks and stuff. There's ways to do it, but it is a little bit of a different world. Okay, so secondly, data-driven targeting, which we're talking about, and personalization. That's a whole world in itself. We were pioneers here at machine learning, and that stuff's still available, but only really, I told clients, you'd have to do 100,000 piece drop to really get any benefit out of it, because we can do your segmentation without that many pieces. But if you only have 10,000 customers, you start to get economies of scale in direct mail in the setup. Depends a little bit. Digital, there's less economies of scale because there's less setup on the press. You just put your PDF in there and boy, whoosh, start the presses. But there's some in paper buying and some other things and some postage qualification. So printing more actually has some benefit, is my point. And yet, if there's only 10,000, so if there's only 10,000 pieces, you might as well print them all. And then figure out who to mail them to. There's always more names. Comprehensive creative services, that's probably one of the best reasons, because, a copywriter who hasn't done mail and hasn't gotten that feedback of the results through time is not the same kind of copywriter as somebody who's spent years or even decades knowing what works and what doesn't. And we do a lot of copy features here. And so you really want to get a direct mail agency who's used to generating a response, getting something to happen. Scalability and efficiency, when you start, especially if you're thinking of tippy-toeing into direct mail, the way you set up a launch is different than the way you grow a mature catalog. It's very different, because in a launch, you don't have any back tests. You don't have any background. You don't know what's going to work and what isn't. So you want to be generous in your segments. You want to mail more broadly than you think, because you think you know exactly who your market is. And again, I could tell you story after story of this, but we got to wrap it up. Measurable results and continuous improvement. I know Gunderson knows about the heuristic system. The system makes direct mail infallible, but they don't mention testing very much in here. And so, if you're considering mail, give us a call. Join the WDMA and we'll talk. That's one of the benefits of, probably the biggest benefit is, join and we'll try to help you with your marketing, whether it's direct mail or direct marketing more generally across other media. My number's down below. Start off the year right. Let's have a conversation. Let's join the digital resistance. I'm John Miglosh. Like,